Here in my right hand is something really incredible and really rare. Inside this book are pages from a Gutenberg Bible. They're over 500 years old. And pretty soon, they're going to be scanned by a very unique and powerful X-ray. Imagine an X-ray so powerful that it can see into the past on an atomic level, uncovering the histories of some of the world's oldest artifacts. A 13th century printing of the Canterbury Tales. A Korean Confucian text from the 15th century. Pages from an original Gutenberg Bible, among several other priceless historical documents. They've all come here, the SLAC National Accelerator Laboratory in Northern California, to be scanned pixel by pixel by a powerful X-ray beam thinner than a human hair. Scientists hope they can help us better understand one of the most important inventions in human history, the printing press. But before we get into that, let's talk about a more modern invention that's key to this research, the Stanford Synchrotron Radiation Light Source, or SSRL. This is a massive particle accelerator that helps scientists better understand our world on a molecular level.
Synchrotron gives you a very bright and powerful light source, and it allows us in a shorter period of time to gather more information.
You may have seen my video on SLAC's linear accelerator, the LCLS. I'll put the link to that in the description. invention, at least in part, based on Eastern technology? By scanning the Gutenberg and Confucian documents, scientists can piece together chemical fingerprints of the ink and paper. Take this scan from an 18th century Chinese document printed in Korea, showing 3 different elements: The researchers asked me not to name the specific elements because they're not ready to make their data public. So I'll refer to them as elements 1, 2, and 3. Element 1 can be seen all over the page in blue. The pinkish red is element 2, and there are just traces of element 3 in green. Scientists can also look for trace metals that historical experts say should not be in the ink.
And therefore probably came from pieces of the printing press itself. So that is one of the very big goals, is to see if we can find any traces of the printing press itself and to see how those presses were made. For example, what the little interchangeable metal keys with each letter on them, the stamps, what those were made out of, how the ink was applied, how the paper was pressed down. We can get information like that depending on the concentration of elements we find in the sample.
If they find similarities in the chemical compositions of the documents, it would contribute to ongoing research into the differences in printing technologies and whether there was an exchange of information from the East to the West. So what did they find? I caught up with the team a few weeks after my visit to SLAC. Though it's too soon to draw any conclusions, they told me they were surprised by the level of detail they were able to collect from the documents.
We can see clear elemental patterns, whether things are showing up in the characters or the papers or annotations. We see very clear elemental signals. So this is really exciting. It means that we have a place to stand on. We have data that we can sort through and potentially see if we can actually pull information about what was inside these inks.
The scholars know what should be there and what shouldn't be there. We had a few surprise elements that we saw that they did not expect, and now they're trying to figure out where could that.
Next up, the team is designing experiments to test some of the hypotheses they've made based on the data they've gathered.
We are going to make ourselves some inks. We are going to make ourselves some types. We are going to make ourselves some paper. We have paper. We have actually Korean paper. We have Western paper. And we are going to reconstruct some of the early printing ourselves and see what it does.
Once their research is complete, the team will present their findings at the Library of Congress in April next year. This is part of a broader research program led by UNESCO called From Chi-Chi to Gutenberg. You can learn more at the program's website. I'll put the link in the description. And let us know your thoughts on the experiment in the comments below.